The day is ending now, slowly folding itself away like a letter you've finished reading. Outside your window, the sky has turned that particular shade of grey that comes just before evening, when the light doesn't quite know whether to stay or go. You move through your space with the unhurried grace of someone who has nowhere else to be, drawing curtains across windows with a gentle whisper of fabric on rod. Your feet find soft slippers waiting by the bed, and as you slide into them, there's that familiar feeling of coming home to yourself. The world outside grows quieter, or perhaps you're simply noticing the quiet more. The transition is happening without effort, the way water finds its level, the way breath finds its rhythm when you stop trying to control it. You can feel the day releasing its hold on your shoulders, that subtle tension you'd stopped noticing beginning to dissolve. There's a place you know, a place you've been before in dreams or memories or something in between. A library waits for you there, patient and still, its heavy oak doors always ready to open, its warm interior always prepared to receive you. The decision to go there isn't really a decision at all, more like a remembering. Your body already knows the way, your mind already beginning to shift into that softer state where the edges of things become less defined. The evening wraps around you like a shawl, gentle and protective, as you prepare to step away from this day and into that quiet, book-lined sanctuary. Time moves differently in the space between waking and sleep, between the world of tasks and the world of rest. You're crossing that threshold now, slowly, safely, with all the time you need. The library doors stand before you, solid and substantial, made of oak so old and heavy that it seems to hold centuries within its grain. The wood is dark, polished by countless hands before yours, smooth beneath your fingertips as you reach forward. There's a weight to these doors that speaks of permanence, of shelter, of a boundary between the hurried world and this place of stillness. The brass handles are cool in your palms, shaped to fit the curve of a human hand, worn to a soft gleam by decades of turning. You pull, and the door moves with that particular resistance that heavy things have, substantial but not difficult. The hinges speak in a low, musical creak, the kind of sound that belongs to old buildings, trusted places, spaces that have welcomed tired souls for longer than anyone remembers. As the door swings open, a breath of warm air meets you, carrying with it the scent of everything that waits inside. The threshold is wide, inviting, and as you step across it, there's that sense of crossing from one world into another. The heavy door closes behind you with a soft, definitive sound, not a slam but a gentle confirmation that you are here now, inside, safe. The entrance hall embraces you with its quiet. The outside world doesn't exactly disappear, but it becomes distant, muffled, less insistent. Here, the air is still and slightly warmer than the evening you've left behind. The oak door at your back stands like a guardian, keeping watch, keeping the rest of the world at bay while you rest. Your footsteps make the softest sound on the floor ahead, and the vast collection of books waits patiently in the dimness, ready to keep you company through these hours of deep rest and gentle dreaming. As you stand in the entrance, adjusting to the library's embrace, you become aware of a sound that might have been there all along, waiting for you to notice. Rain. The first drops are arriving against the tall windows, tentative at first, a tap here, a tap there, like careful fingers testing the glass to see if it will hold. The window panes are old, wavy in that way that antique glass is, each pane its own small imperfect world. The rain finds them one by one, and the sound builds from sporadic tapping into something more rhythmic, more intentional. Each drop makes its own small music, a tiny percussion that joins with others to create a pattern, a rhythm, a lullaby written by weather and gravity. The glass is cool where the rain touches it. You can sense that even from here, the cold of the autumn evening pressing against the barrier that keeps you warm and dry. But you are inside, protected, and the rain's arrival feels less like a threat and more like an arrival of an old friend, something familiar and soothing that you'd forgotten you were waiting for. The rhythm isn't perfectly regular, not like a metronome or a clock, but organic, shifting, with moments of intensity followed by moments of softness. Sometimes a gust of wind throws a handful of drops against the glass all at once, a sudden rush of sound, and then the pattern settles back into its gentler conversation. You can hear the rain, but you're separate from it, held safe in this building of books and wood and stone. The sound becomes a backdrop, a constant presence that somehow makes the silence between the drops feel even deeper, even more peaceful. As your eyes adjust to the library's gentle dimness, your nose begins to catalogue the layers of scent that fill this space. It's a complex perfume, this room, built up over years of stillness and use, of books opened and closed, of candles lit and extinguished, of seasons passing beyond the walls while the interior remains largely unchanged. The dominant note is paper, old paper, that particular smell of aging cellulose and ink that every library holds. It's not musty exactly, not unpleasant, but rich and slightly sweet, the smell of stories and knowledge and time itself made tangible. Beneath that, there's leather, the leather of countless book bindings, smooth and worn, mixed with the scent of the leather furniture scattered throughout the room. You catch the warm, honeyed smell of beeswax, from candles that have burned here or perhaps from polish used to maintain the wooden surfaces. It mingles with something else, something slightly vanilla, slightly smoky, maybe old varnish or the natural oils from the oak paneling that lines the walls. There's dust too, but not the aggressive dust of neglect, rather the soft, settled dust that belongs in quiet places, barely noticeable, almost comforting. Somewhere in the mix, there's a ghost of wood smoke, as if fires have burned in the fireplace for so many years that the scent has seeped into the very fabric of the room. And underneath everything, so subtle you almost can't name it, the smell of autumn rain beginning to intensify outside, that clean, mineral scent that seeps through old buildings, mixing with the warmer indoor air. Breathing this air is like breathing history, comfort, and solitude all at once. Each inhale brings you deeper into this place, deeper into relaxation, deeper into the peaceful state that the library offers. Your feet carry you forward now, deeper into the library's heart, and with your first steps, you discover that the floor is covered in carpet, thick and soft, the kind of carpet that belongs to another era. It's a deep burgundy or perhaps a forest green, the color hard to determine in the low light, but the texture is unmistakable beneath your soles. Each step you take is almost silent, the carpet absorbing the sound of your movement until you become a ghost drifting through this space. The pile is deep, your feet sinking slightly with each step, and there's something profoundly soothing about this muffled movement, this sense of walking through softness, through quiet made tangible. The aisles between the bookshelves stretch before you, corridors lined with spines of every color, though the dimness mutes them all toward shadow. The shelves rise high on either side, and as you walk slowly between them, there's a sense of being held, of moving through a space that knows exactly how wide to be, how tall to be, to create this perfect sense of enclosure without confinement. Your hand might trail along the shelf as you pass, fingertips brushing over the varied textures of book spines, cloth and leather and paper, smooth and ridged. The silence here is so complete that you can hear your own breathing, soft and steady, keeping time with your muffled footsteps. The carpet's thickness makes everything feel slower, more deliberate, as if the library itself is asking you to take your time, to leave behind the rushing pace of the day. There's nowhere you need to be but here, no speed required, only this gentle progression through the quiet aisles, moving toward whatever spot will become your resting place for the evening. The journey through the library is part of the piece, not separate from it. Each step takes you further from urgency, further into calm. At the end of one aisle, you find a reading area, and on a small table beside a chair, there's a lamp. The lamp is old, its base made of brass or bronze, tarnished to a soft glow rather than a bright shine. The shade is glass, colored a deep emerald green, the kind of green that makes you think of forests and deep water, of richness and depth. You reach for the small chain that hangs from the lamp's brass fixture, and it's cool between your fingers, a tiny ball at the end that fits perfectly in your grasp. You pull, and there's a soft click, mechanical and satisfying, a sound that belongs to objects made before everything became silent and electronic. The bulb inside comes to life, but it's not harsh, this light. It filters through the green glass shade and emerges transformed, softened, turned into something that's more glow than glare. The light pools on the table beneath the lamp, illuminating a small circle of the surface, the wood grain becoming visible, the swirls and knots in the old timber revealing themselves. The green light spreads slowly upward as well, giving the air itself a quality, tinting the space around you with that forest watercolor. It's dim enough that the shadows remain deep, but bright enough that you can see clearly within this small sphere of illumination. The rest of the library recedes into comfortable darkness, but here, in your small pool of green-gold light, everything feels intimate and safe. The lamp makes a very soft humming sound, so quiet you almost don't notice it, just the faintest electrical vibration that becomes part of the room's texture. The warmth of the bulb begins to radiate through the glass shade, not hot but gently warm, and you can feel that warmth on your hands when you hold them near. This small light is enough, more than enough. It doesn't try to banish the darkness but instead makes peace with it, offering just what's needed and no more. From your position near the lamp, you can see one of the tall windows, and the rain has intensified now, no longer just tapping but streaming down the glass in rivulets and runs. You find yourself watching the water's descent, the way it catches what little light reaches the window from street lamps far below or perhaps from the moon hidden somewhere behind the clouds. Each droplet that hits the window seems to have its own path to follow, its own journey down the glass. Some drops slide straight down, fast and purposeful, while others meander, joining with other drops they meet along the way, combining into larger streams that move with more weight, more momentum. Some drops pause, clinging to an imperfection in the glass, trembling there for long moments before finally releasing and rushing downward to join the others. The light from outside is distorted by the water and the old glass, creating shifting patterns of brightness and shadow. It's mesmerizing, this constant movement that never quite repeats itself, this dance of gravity and liquid that plays out again and again, infinite variations on a simple theme. Your eyes can rest on this view, following one drop or taking in the whole streaming pattern, and either way, there's something deeply calming about the sight. Behind the rain-streaked window, the world is blurred, transformed into impressions rather than details. Lights become soft glows, shapes become suggestions, and everything beyond this building becomes abstract, dreamlike, unimportant. The boundary between inside and outside is made visible by the rain, made tangible, and you are definitively on the inside, in the warm, dry space, watching the weather from a place of complete safety. The sound and the sight work together, the visual rhythm matching the audio one, and both combine to create a sense of being held in this moment, in this place, with nothing required of you but to be here, breathing, watching, resting. Your attention drifts from the window back to the shelves around you, and you find yourself drawn to a particular book, though you couldn't say exactly why this one calls to you. It's thick, substantial, bound in cloth that might once have been blue or grey but has faded into something in between. The spine shows gold lettering, worn but still legible, though the title itself doesn't matter. What matters is the book itself, the object, the presence of it. You reach up, your fingers finding the top edge of the spine, and you tilt the book toward you to grip it properly. It's heavier than you expected, with that satisfying weight that old books have, the weight of quality paper and sturdy binding and time. You pull it from its place on the shelf, and it comes reluctantly, as if it's been resting there so long that leaving requires a moment of adjustment. The cloth of the cover is textured under your hands, not smooth but slightly rough, with a weave you can feel. The edges of the boards beneath the cloth are hard and true, and as you turn the book to look at its cover, you can see the slight wear at the corners where other hands have held it before yours. There's something comforting about this evidence of use, this proof that the book has been read, valued, returned to again and again. The spine creaks very softly as you support the book's weight in your hands. It's the sound of old glue and binding threads adjusting, not breaking but settling into a new position. Inside, you know, there will be pages of thick paper, probably slightly yellowed, with that deckled edge that books used to have, irregular and somehow more honest than the machine-cut precision of modern volumes. Holding this book feels like holding something real, something that has substance and history and presence. It's a physical comfort, this weight in your hands. With the book in your hands, you turn toward the chair positioned perfectly near the green lamp, and you see that it's exactly what a library reading chair should be. It's a wingback, upholstered in leather that was probably once a rich brown but has aged into something deeper, more complex, with variations in color where hands and heads and bodies have rested over the years. You lower yourself into the chair, and it receives you with the particular give of old leather and quality padding. The seat is deep, deep enough that you can settle fully back, and as you do, the wings of the chair rise on either side of your head, creating a sense of enclosure, of being held. The leather is cool for just a moment against your arms and neck, but it warms quickly, responsive to your body heat. The chair creaks as you settle, not alarmingly but musically, the sound of old wooden springs and leather all adjusting to your weight. It's a sound that speaks of use, of durability, of a piece of furniture that has served its purpose for decades and will continue to do so. There's a slight rocking quality to the chair, not enough to be a rocking chair proper, but enough that when you shift your weight, the whole structure moves just a fraction, responsive and accommodating. Your back finds support against the chair's tall back, your head can rest against the leather behind you, and your arms find the wide armrests, worn smooth in places where countless other arms have rested. The book settles in your lap, its weight resting on your thighs, and your hands can hold it easily, or let it simply rest there, held by gravity and your body together. From this position, you can see the lamp, the window with its streaming rain, the shadowy suggestions of bookshelves extending into darkness. But mostly, you're aware of the chair's embrace, the way it seems designed specifically for this moment, this purpose, this deep, settling rest. From somewhere far away, so far that it might be miles distant, you hear the first low rumble of thunder. It's not the sharp crack of nearby lightning, but the deep, sustained roll of a storm that's happening elsewhere, the sound traveling across distance to reach you here in your sheltered space. The thunder is felt as much as heard, a low vibration that travels through the air, through the building's structure, reaching you as a subtle sensation in your chest and stomach rather than just in your ears. It's the bass note of the storm, the foundation beneath the rain's constant percussion, and it adds depth to the evening's soundscape. The rolling continues for several seconds, rising and falling, and there's something profoundly grounding about it. It's a reminder of the Earth's power, of weather systems vast and indifferent, moving according to laws older than human consciousness. But here you are, inside, protected, and the thunder's power becomes something you can appreciate from safety, something that makes your shelter feel even more secure by contrast. Another roll follows, slightly different in tone, slightly different in duration. These aren't the explosive cracks that make you jump, but the long, slow rumbles that make you want to sink deeper into wherever you're sitting, that make you want to exhale and let your shoulders drop. There's no threat in this sound, only a deep, subsonic lullaby, the storm singing to you from a distance. The rain at the window continues its patter, and now with the thunder beneath it, the whole experience becomes richer, more layered. High sounds and low sounds, near sounds and distant sounds, all combining to create a cocoon of weather around this quiet library, around this chair, around you. You can feel your breathing has slowed to match the thunder's rhythm, deep and slow, your body responding to the storm's patient tempo. The book rests in your lap, still closed, but your hands move to open it now, fingers finding the front cover and lifting it. The cover's weight is substantial, and it opens with a soft resistance, the spine's binding having held this position for so long that changing it requires gentle insistence. The cover falls open onto your left arm, resting there, and the first page is revealed. It's an end paper, probably marbled in subtle colors, or perhaps just a heavy cream stock, thick enough that light doesn't penetrate it. Your fingers find the corner of this first page, and you lift it, turning it toward the other side. The paper makes a sound as you turn it, a crisp whisper, the friction of fiber against fiber, a sound that's different from modern paper, more substantial, more present. The page settles into its new position, and you see the title page now, with its elegant typography, perhaps slightly off-center in that way that old books are, printed on presses that required human judgment rather than computer precision. Your fingers move to the next page, and again there's that satisfying crisp sound, that gentle resistance that quality paper has, thick enough to have body, to exist as its own small thing rather than just a flimsy sheet. Each page you turn reveals text, and though you're not really reading, not in the usual sense, your eyes can rest on the words, taking in the shapes of letters, the patterns of paragraphs, the comfort of language arranged on paper. The type is probably slightly irregular if you look closely, pressed into the paper rather than printed on its surface, and there's a texture to it that modern books have lost. The sound of page turning becomes a rhythm you can control, each turn a small meditation, a small action that requires just enough attention to be engaging but not so much that it disturbs your deepening rest. Turn, settle, pause, turn, settle, pause. You look up from the book for a moment, and in the green-gold light of the lamp, you notice the shadows. They're everywhere, these shadows, but they're not still. They're moving, dancing, shifting in ways that are subtle but constant. At first, you're not sure what's causing the movement, but then you realize there must be a fireplace nearby, somewhere just beyond your immediate circle of vision, and it must contain a fire burning low, because the shadows are moving with that particular flicker that only firelight creates. The bookshelves that extend into the darkness are the canvas for this shadow play. The spines of books catch the moving light and cast it back in shifting patterns, some illuminated for a moment before falling back into darkness, then brightening again as the flames shift. The shadows lean and retreat, stretch and contract, in a slow, hypnotic rhythm that has no pattern you can predict, only a constant, gentle variation. Between the shadows cast by the lamplight and the shadows cast by the firelight, there's a complex interplay happening, a conversation between two light sources creating effects that neither would produce alone. The green tint from the lamp mixes with the warmer orange of the firelight where they meet, creating colors that exist only in this moment, in this room, unrepeatable. The vertical lines of the bookshelves become like prison bars made of shadow and light, but not confining, instead creating a rhythm, a visual pulse that your eyes can follow without effort. Near, far, light, shadow, light, shadow. The movement is soothing in the way that watching flames themselves is soothing, engaging some ancient part of your brain that finds meaning and comfort in fire's dance. You can rest your eyes on this movement, or let them go soft and take it in peripherally. Either way, it's one more element in the room's orchestration of peace, one more reason to let go, to settle, to simply be here. On the small table beside your chair, next to the green lamp, you notice there's a cup of tea. You don't remember it arriving, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that it's here now, waiting, and a thin ribbon of steam rises from its surface into the air above. The cup is ceramic, probably white or cream, and it sits in a saucer that matches, though the light makes it hard to tell colors precisely. The steam rises in a wavering line, climbing through the still air of the library, catching the lamplight as it goes. It's visible for perhaps a foot above the cup before it dissipates into invisibility, but while you can see it, it's mesmerizing, this evidence of heat made visible, this proof that the tea is hot and ready and offering comfort. The scent reaches you, and it's Earl Grey, that distinctive bergamot orange note floating on top of the black tea's deeper, richer smell. It's a scent that speaks of afternoon rituals and English traditions, of taking a moment to pause, to sip, to let something warm work its way from your hands to your throat to your center. The bergamot adds a brightness, almost a floral quality, to the tea's fundamental earthiness. You reach for the cup, and even before your fingers touch the ceramic, you can feel the heat radiating from it. When you do grasp the cup, lifting it from the saucer with a small ceramic clink, the warmth seeps into your palms immediately, a direct, simple comfort. You bring the cup closer to your face, and the steam bathes your nose and chin, warm and fragrant, carrying the tea scent even more intensely. A small sip, and the liquid is hot but not scalding, just the right temperature to warm your mouth and throat as it goes down. The taste matches the scent, the Earl Grey's characteristic flavor settling on your tongue, slightly bitter, slightly sweet, wholly familiar. Another sip, and you can feel the warmth beginning to spread through your chest, your body responding to the heat, to the comfort. The cup returns to the saucer, and the steam continues to rise, patient, constant, a small beacon of warmth in the cool library air. As you sit with your tea, you become aware of your feet, still in their soft slippers, resting on the floor beneath the chair. But the floor here isn't just floor, it's covered in a rug, and this rug is even thicker and softer than the carpet in the aisles. Your feet are sinking into it, the pile so deep that your feet almost disappear into the softness. The rug seems to have retained warmth, perhaps from the nearby fireplace, perhaps just from being in this sheltered space. The warmth rises through your slippers, through your soles, a gentle, steady heat that begins to affect your whole body. There's something about warm feet that signals to your entire system that it's safe to relax, to let go, to prepare for deep rest. You press your feet down slightly, feeling the rug compress and then spring back, and there's a pleasure in this simple sensation, this give and support. The texture is plush, dense, probably wool, and though you can't see the color in this light, you imagine it might be a deep red or a warm gold, something rich and enveloping. The warmth travels up from your feet through your ankles, your calves, as if heat is liquid and capable of flowing upward through your body. Your legs feel heavier now, weighted, content to stay where they are. The chair holds most of your weight, but the rug holds your feet, and together they're supporting you completely, asking nothing in return. You wiggle your toes inside your slippers, and even this small movement feels like it requires more effort than it's worth. Better to be still, to let your feet rest in their warm nest, to let the rug's softness and warmth work their way into your muscles, encouraging them to release, to soften, to surrender to the chair and the evening and the rain. Your whole body feels heavier now, as if gravity has increased slightly, as if the chair is slowly, gently pulling you down into deeper comfort, deeper rest. Somewhere in the library, there must be a clock, because you can hear its tick now, soft and regular, barely audible beneath the rain. When you shift your gaze, searching for the source, you find it, a grandfather clock standing against a far wall, just barely visible in the combined glow of lamplight and firelight. The clock's face is round, probably white with black numbers, though from here it's too distant and the light too dim to read the time, and the time doesn't matter anyway. What matters is the pendulum that swings behind the glass panel in the clock's lower case. It's brass, probably, catching what light reaches it and glinting softly as it moves through its arc. Back and forth, the pendulum swings with perfect regularity. Left, right, left, right. The movement is hypnotic, your eyes drawn to follow its path, back and forth, back and forth. There's something ancient and comforting about this mechanism, this purely mechanical heart beating out time with brass and gravity and the patient unwinding of a wound spring. Each swing of the pendulum creates one tick of the clock, sound and motion married into a single rhythmic pulse. You can sync your breathing to it if you want, inhaling as it swings left, exhaling as it swings right, or vice versa, the pendulum becoming a guide for the most basic function of life, the breath moving in and out. The swing is never hurried, never slow, just consistent, reliable, as patient as time itself. You could watch this for hours, for days, and it would continue unchanged, and there's a deep comfort in this consistency, this proof that some things are steady, dependable, eternal in their simple purpose. Your eyelids feel heavier as you watch, the back and forth motion encouraging them to fall, to close, to rest. But for now, you're still watching, still following the brass arc through space, still breathing with its rhythm, still here, still present, still safe in this moment. You let your eyes drift upward from the pendulum, past the tops of the bookshelves, and you discover that the library's ceiling is much higher than you'd realized. It must be 20 feet up, perhaps more, and the space above the shelves is all dark beams and shadow. The beams are massive, probably the original structural timbers of this old building, dark wood that might be oak or something even older, harder. The beams cross each other in patterns, creating a geometry above you that's just barely visible in the dim light that manages to reach that height. The space up there feels vast, cathedral-like, and this vastness gives the room a quality of openness even while the shelves and the chair create intimacy at ground level. You're held close by the furniture and books, but you could expand upward if you wanted. Your spirit could float up into that dark, high space where the beams meet and cross. There might be cobwebs in the corners where the beams meet the walls, probably are, but you can't see them from here, and they don't matter if they exist. This is not a museum-perfect space, but a living one, a used one, where some dust and some cobwebs are just part of the texture, part of what makes it real. The darkness up there near the ceiling feels protective rather than oppressive, a darkness that covers you like a blanket, that gives the room a sense of being cave-like, sheltered, removed from the ordinary world. The rain is falling on the roof somewhere above even those beams, but the sound is muffled by the time it reaches you, filtered through wood and air and space. Looking up makes your neck rest against the chair's high back, your head tilted slightly, a position that's restful, receptive. You could close your eyes now and the darkness behind your eyelids would match the darkness in the ceiling, the two darknesses meeting, inside and outside merging into one peaceful void. The rain, which has been a constant presence since you arrived, changes now, intensifying, growing heavier. What was a steady patter becomes a proper downpour, a rush of water meeting earth and roof and window with increased force. The sound swells, filling the library, becoming less a background texture and more a presence, a voice, a statement. On the windows, the rain is no longer running down in discrete streams but sheeting, covering the glass in a moving curtain of water. The individual drops are impossible to distinguish now. There's only the collective force of water responding to gravity, falling, always falling, an endless supply pouring from clouds that seem to have unlimited reserves. The sound has changed too, no longer just tapping but a white noise roar, a consistent wash of sound that's somehow both loud and soothing. It's like static, like ocean waves, like wind through trees, a natural noise that the human brain recognizes as safe, as neutral, as something that can be ignored or leaned into depending on what you need. There's a protection in this sound, an assurance. The rain is working to enclose you even further, to seal you into this space by creating such intensity outside that the inside becomes even more precious by contrast. You are here, dry and warm, while out there, everything is being washed, cleaned, drenched. The boundary between the two states has never been clearer. The building holds firm against the increased rain, the old roof and walls doing what they've done for a century or more, sheltering the books and the people who come to sit among them. Not a drop penetrates, not a leak appears, only the sound comes through, and the sound is exactly what you need, a blanket of noise that smooths away any remaining sharpness in your awareness, any remaining tension in your body. You can let the rain's intensity match your own intensity of rest, your own depth of relaxation. The harder it rains, the deeper you can go into peace. In the cone of light that falls from the green lamp, you notice them now, the dust motes. They're tiny, nearly invisible, but in the lamp's focus beam, they become visible as they drift through the air. Each mote catches the light for just a moment, glinting gold-green before falling back into darkness, a tiny spark of matter made momentarily luminous. They're always there, these particles, you know this, but usually they're invisible, moving through spaces we can't see them. But here, in this particular light, at this particular angle, they become visible, a slow-motion snowfall of the microscopic. They don't fall straight down but drift, caught in air currents you can't feel, riding invisible waves of atmosphere that move through the library in response to temperature differences and the building's breath. Watching them requires a soft focus. You can't look directly at any single mote or it disappears. You have to take them in as a group, as a field, a constellation of tiny points moving through the green-gold light. They're beautiful, in their way, these proof that everything is always in motion, that stillness is always an illusion, that even in the quietest room, life and matter continue their eternal dance. The motes move slowly, languidly, as if they too are affected by the library's peace, as if they too are settling in for rest. Some rise, defying gravity in their lightness, riding warm air from the fireplace upward into the dark. Others descend, sinking slowly toward the carpet, where they'll join their millions of companions already resting in the pile. Your breathing might be moving some of them, each exhale creating a tiny breeze that sends motes scattering, each inhale drawing them closer. You're part of the room's system now, part of its movement, part of its living stillness. You and the dust and the air and the light are all one thing, all sharing this space, all moving together in the eternal present moment of now. The book in your lap has been open for a while, pages turned, words glanced at but not really read. Now, you bring your hands to its edges, left hand on the right side, right hand on the left, and you begin to close it. The pages that have been resting against your right arm now rise, and you guide them over, helping them complete their journey back to the book's closed position. The pages settle with a soft rustle, several hundred of them compressing together, and then the back cover rises to meet the front. The book closes with a soft thud, not loud but definite, a muffled sound of weight meeting weight, of completion. The sound is satisfying in the way that closing things is satisfying, a small task finished, a boundary established, a statement made that this chapter of the evening is complete. The closed book rests on your lap, and your hands rest on the book, palms flat against its cloth cover. You can feel the texture again, that weave of fabric, the hardness of the boards beneath. The book is warm now from resting against your body, it's absorbed your heat and holds it, a small interchange of warmth between you and this inanimate object that somehow feels not quite inanimate, that feels like it has presence, personality, even care. There's no need to open it again, no need to. Pursue whatever story or information it contains. It has served its purpose simply by being here, by being held, by giving your hand something to do while the rest of you settled into deeper rest. The book can stay where it is, or you could set it aside on the small table, but either way, that particular engagement is finished. Your hands, now free from the task of holding and turning pages, can rest more completely. They can lie on the chair's armrests or in your lap, palms up or palms down, however they want to settle. Released from small tasks, your body can dedicate itself more fully to the only task that remains, the task of rest. Your eyes have been open for a while now, taking in the room, the rain, the shadows, the dancing light. They're feeling the way eyes do after sustained use, slightly dry perhaps, slightly tired, ready for a change. If you wear glasses, your hands move to your face now, fingers finding the temples of the frames, and you lift them gently away from your ears, away from your nose. Without the glasses, the room shifts, Details become softer, edges blur, the lamplight becomes a halo of green-gold without sharp boundaries. Everything takes on a dreamlike quality, less defined, more impressionistic, and there's a relief in this, a permission to not see everything clearly, to let the world become soft and vague. Or perhaps you don't wear glasses, but your hands still rise to your face, and your fingers find your eyes, closed now. You rub gently, the pressure on your eyelids creating patterns of color and light behind them, internal fireworks, a private light show generated by the simple physics of pressure on the optic nerve. The rubbing is a comfort, a small self-soothing gesture that humans have been doing since infancy, a way of saying to yourself that it's okay to close your eyes, that it's okay to stop looking, that it's time to turn inward. When your hands fall away, your eyes might stay closed for a moment longer, or they might open again to see the room through fresh vision. If they open, there's a moment of adjustment, of refocusing, and then the familiar scene is there again, but somehow renewed. If they stay closed, that's fine too, more than fine, because closed eyes are the gateway to sleep, the signal to your body and mind that the transition is happening, that you're moving from wakefulness into whatever comes next. The gentle pressure lingers on your eyelids even after your hands have moved away, a ghost of touch, a reminder of care. Everything is softer now, everything is ready for release. The fireplace that you suspected was there, that's been creating the dancing shadows, is visible now if you turn your head slightly to the left. It's set into the wall, stone or brick surrounding it, and inside, the fire that might have been bright earlier has burned down to something quieter, something that's more glow than flame. The embers are red, that deep, intense red that comes from wood converted almost entirely to coal, so hot that it's transcended flame and become pure heat, pure light. They pulse slightly, breathing in their way, dimming and brightening as air finds them or fails to find them. The glow they cast is warm, orange-red, different from the lamp's green-gold, and where the two lights meet in the middle space of the room, there's a complex interplay of color. Heat radiates from the fireplace, and you can feel it from where you sit, a gentle warmth on the side of your body closest to it. It's not aggressive heat, not the blast of a fire in full fury, but the gentle, reliable warmth of embers that will hold their heat for hours, that will warm this room long into the night without drama, without fuss, just quiet, constant, giving heat. The wood that was once there is mostly gone now, converted to ash and coal. What remains will continue burning, slowly, slowly, giving up its stored energy bit by bit until there's nothing left but grey ash. But that ending is hours away still. For now, there's plenty of warmth remaining, plenty of glow, plenty of life in these quiet coals. The crackling sound that fire makes is mostly gone now, replaced by very soft, occasional pops, tiny sounds of air escaping from deep within the coal, or of ash settling into new configurations. These sounds are so quiet that you have to listen for them, and when you do hear one, it's like a secret shared between you and the fire. The warmth, the glow, the gentle sounds, they all work together to create another layer of comfort, another reason to sink deeper into the chair, to let your muscles release further, to drift closer to the edge of sleep. Your head has been upright, or tilted slightly forward to look at the book, to look at the fire, to take in the room. But now it's time to let your head rest. The wing-back chair rises high behind you, and it's designed for this, designed to support the head's weight, to give the neck a break from its constant work of holding up what is, after all, a surprisingly heavy sphere of bone and brain and tissue. You lean back, and your head finds the leather of the chair's high back. The contact is soft, the leather having molded itself over years to accommodate heads like yours. There's a slight give as the padding compresses, and then your head is held, supported, the weight transferred from your neck muscles to the chair. Your neck can release now, all those muscles that have been holding you upright can let go. There's a stretch that happens, the front of the neck lengthening, the throat exposed and vulnerable but safe, because you are safe here, there's nothing to fear. The back of the neck compresses slightly where it meets the chair, and there might be a small adjustment, a tiny shifting to find exactly the right spot, and then, yes, there it is, the perfect position. With your head back, your eyes naturally want to close, the position itself suggesting rest, suggesting surrender. The ceiling is still there above you if you keep your eyes open, those dark beams, that vast space, but it's getting harder to care about seeing anything, easier to just let the eyelids fall, to turn the outside world off and let the inside world take over. Your jaw might soften, your mouth might open slightly, and that's okay. There's no one to see, no one to judge. Your face can relax completely, every tiny muscle around your eyes, your mouth, your forehead, all can release their tension and become slack, become peaceful, become simply present without effort or control. The support of the chair is total now, your whole body given over to it, held, protected, freed from the work of holding itself up. Your head has been upright, or tilted slightly forward to look at the book, to look at the fire, to take in the room. But now it's time to let your head rest. The wing-back chair rises high behind you, and it's designed for this, designed to support the head's weight, to give the neck a break from its constant work of holding up what is, after all, a surprisingly heavy sphere of bone and brain and tissue. You lean back, and your head finds the leather of the chair's high back. The contact is soft, the leather having molded itself over years to accommodate heads like yours. There's a slight give as the padding compresses, and then your head is held, supported, the weight transferred from your neck muscles to the chair. Your neck can release now, all those muscles that have been holding you upright can let go. There's a stretch that happens, the front of the neck lengthening, the throat exposed and vulnerable but safe, because you are safe here, there's nothing to fear. The back of the neck compresses slightly where it meets the chair, and there might be a small adjustment, a tiny shifting to find exactly the right spot, and then, yes, there it is, the perfect position. With your head back, your eyes naturally want to close, the position itself suggesting rest, suggesting surrender. The ceiling is still there above you if you keep your eyes open, those dark beams, that vast space, but it's getting harder to care about seeing anything, easier to just let the eyelids fall, to turn the outside world off and let the inside world take over. Your jaw might soften, your mouth might open slightly, and that's okay. There's no one to see, no one to judge. Your face can relax completely, every tiny muscle around your eyes, your mouth, your forehead, All can release their tension and become slack, become peaceful, become simply present without effort or control. The support of the chair is total now, your whole body given over to it, held, protected, freed from the work of holding itself up. As you sit with your head back, breathing slowly, deeply, you notice a change in the air. There's a vent somewhere, probably near the ceiling or high on a wall, and through it, the smell of rain is entering the library, mingling with the interior scents of paper and leather and wood smoke. The smell is unmistakable, that particular clean, mineral scent that rain creates, especially rain that's falling on stone and earth. It's called petrichor, this smell, from the Greek words for stone and the blood of the gods, because ancient people believed rain was the gods' blood falling to earth. And there is something divine about it, something that speaks to something very old in the human brain, something that says water, life, renewal, safety. Our ancestors survived because they could smell rain coming, could find water sources, could know when the drought was breaking. The cool air that carries the scent is fresher than the library's interior air, though the library's air is not stale, just different. The coolness creeps across your face, very gentle, a slight lowering of temperature that makes you even more aware of the warmth from the fireplace, the warmth of the chair, the warmth of your own body. The contrast between the cool air on your face and the warmth everywhere else is delicious, perfect, exactly what you need. You breathe in deeply, drawing the rain-scented air into your lungs, and it feels cleansing, refreshing, even while everything else about this evening is about warmth and enclosure and rest. The air is a reminder that the world outside continues, that there's a whole planet out there being washed clean, being fed, being renewed by this rain. But you don't need to be part of that renewal in an active way. You can simply receive it here, simply breathe it, simply know it's happening. Another breath, and the scent is already becoming familiar, already being absorbed into the room's complex perfume. But it's there, will remain there, a cool, clean thread running through the warmer, earthier smells that surround you. As you rest in your chair, surrounded by books and warmth and rain sounds, you become aware that the world outside this library has essentially ceased to exist. Not literally, you know that somewhere out there, streets run and buildings stand and people move through their lives. But for you, now, in this moment, all of that might as well be a dream, a story you heard once, something that belongs to a different reality than the one you're inhabiting. The darkness outside the windows is complete now, no more grey light, just black, and even the distorted suggestions of lights that were visible through the rain-streaked glass earlier have faded or disappeared. Either the street lamps have been extinguished, or the rain has become so heavy that light can't penetrate it, or perhaps your eyes have adjusted so fully to the dimness inside that the outside world has simply receded beyond your ability to perceive it. It doesn't matter which explanation is true. What matters is that there is no outside anymore. There's only inside, only here, only this room with its books and shadows and rain sounds. Everything has contracted to this perfect, contained sphere of existence, bounded by walls and roof and windows, measured in armchair distances and lamp glow radii. You have no obligations to the outside world, no expectations, no demands. The phone, if there is a phone, is silent. The people, if there are people, are elsewhere. The tasks, if there are tasks, can wait until tomorrow, until next week, until forever. Right now, right here, you exist in a pocket outside of time, outside of duty, outside of everything except being, resting, breathing, existing in the simplest possible way. The darkness outside the windows becomes a mirror for the darkness inside your closed eyelids, the two darknesses meeting, merging, becoming one seamless void that holds you gently, asks nothing, offers everything. You've been sitting in this chair for a while now, but only now do you realize how deeply you've sunk into it, how completely it's molded itself to your shape. Or perhaps you've molded yourself to it. It's hard to say where the chair ends and you begin anymore. The boundary between your body and the leather and padding has become permeable, uncertain. Your weight has settled, distributed itself evenly across all the surfaces that support you. The seat takes most of your weight, but the back supports your spine, the wings support your shoulders and head, the armrests support your arms. Every part of you is held, and in being held, every part of you can release further, can let go more completely. There's a heaviness to your body now, a sense of increased gravity, as if the earth's pull has grown stronger, as if you weigh more than you did when you first sat down. Your arms are heavy on the armrests, too heavy to lift without real effort. Your legs are heavy against the seat, sinking into the cushion. Your head is heavy against the chair back, pressing into the leather with increasing pressure as your muscles continue to release. Sinking feels appropriate, feels right. You're sinking through the chair into some deeper place, some realm where physical bodies become suggestions rather than facts, where weight and mass and solidity become optional. The chair is the vehicle for this journey, and it's taking you down, down, into depths of rest that you rarely reach, into a state of relaxation so profound that it borders on dissolution. You could try to sit up, to engage your muscles, to become upright and alert again, but why would you? What possible reason could there be to reverse this delicious descent? Better to continue, better to sink further, better to let the chair and gravity and your own body's wisdom carry you to wherever you're being taken. The sinking continues, slow, imperceptible, but constant, always deeper, always more complete, always moving toward some final resting place where effort is forgotten and only peace remains. Your breathing has been happening this whole time, of course, in and out, the automatic rhythm that sustains life. But now you notice it, bring it into your awareness, and as you do, you discover that it has already synced with the rain, matched its rhythm to the larger rhythm of water falling outside. Each inhale is like a gathering of rain clouds, a drawing in of moisture and possibility. The breath comes in through your nose or slightly parted lips, cool and fresh, filling your lungs from bottom to top, expanding your ribcage, lifting your chest slightly even as your body stays otherwise relaxed. The inhale is the sky preparing to release, the anticipation before the drop falls. And then the exhale, and yes, this is the rain itself, the letting go, the water leaving the cloud and falling, falling, falling to earth. Your breath leaves your body in a slow, controlled release, your chest and ribcage settling back down, your belly softening, all the air that came in now flowing back out, returning to the room, to the atmosphere, to the cycle of breath that all living things share. The rhythm isn't forced. You don't have to try to match your breathing to the rain. It's happening on its own, your body recognizing the pattern in the rain and naturally aligning with it. Inhale as rain gathers, exhale as rain falls. Inhale as the pattern ebbs slightly, exhale as it surges. Breath and rain, the two rhythms becoming one. With each exhale, you release not just air but also tension, thought, awareness. With each inhale, you take in not just oxygen but also peace, stillness, the essence of this quiet place. The exchange is perfect, balanced, exactly what your body needs, exactly what this moment requires. Breathing becomes less something you do and more something that happens through you, the rain breathing through you, the room breathing through you, existence itself breathing through you, and you simply the instrument through which breath and life flow. The green lamp that's been your companion through this evening, casting its emerald glow over your small corner of the library, begins to change. The bulb, which has been burning steadily, flickers. It's not a dramatic flicker, not an alarming one, just a small variation in intensity, a dimming and brightening that happens over the course of seconds. Perhaps the bulb is old, or perhaps the electrical supply is fluctuating slightly, or perhaps it's something else entirely, something about the way light behaves in this particular space at this particular time. Whatever the cause, the effect is mesmerizing. The green light grows dimmer, and the shadows around you deepen, the books receding further into darkness, the room contracting even more around you. Then the light brightens again, not to full intensity but to something closer to it, and the shadows retreat slightly, giving ground. But they return as the light dims again, patient, knowing that their time is coming, that eventually the light will fail completely or be extinguished, and they will reclaim the entire space. The flickering creates a gentle pulse in the room's atmosphere, a sense of something breathing, something alive. The green tint that's colored your perception all evening grows more and then less saturated, the world cycling between deeper forest greens and paler, almost amber tones as the bulb varies its output. Your eyelids, already heavy, respond to the dimming by growing heavier still. The less light there is, the less reason there is to keep your eyes open, the less there is to see that's worth the effort of seeing. The flickering seems to be encouraging you, seems to be saying it's okay to close your eyes, it's okay to let the visual world go, you don't need it anymore tonight. One more flicker, and the light settles into a steady dim glow, not bright, no longer trying to illuminate much of anything, just offering the smallest protest against total darkness, a tiny beacon that marks the chair, the table, your presence in this space. Your eyelids have been growing heavier for a while now, incrementally increasing their weight with every passing moment, every breath, every sound of rain. They've remained open through effort that you didn't quite notice you were making, sustained by some automatic process that said it was important to keep seeing, to keep taking in the world. But now that effort is ending. The signal comes from somewhere deep in your brain, some center that governs sleep and waking, and it says simply, enough. You've seen what there was to see, you've experienced what this evening offered, and now it's time to close, to shut the outer world away and turn inward toward dreams, toward sleep, toward the deep rest that your body has been quietly requesting for the last hour. The eyelids begin their descent, slow at first, lowering like curtains at the end of a performance. The room remains visible through the narrowing gap, the green lamp glow, the fire's red embers, the suggestions of bookshelves and shadows. But these images are growing less important, less interesting, less able to hold your attention. Halfway closed now, and the world has become a thin slice of dim color and shape, barely worth processing. Your eyes, behind the closing lids, have already lost focus, stopped trying to see clearly, accepted that their work is done. The muscles that hold the eyelids open have released their grip, surrendered their post, retired from duty. 3/4 closed, and there's just a sliver of light remaining, a thin line of green gold that persists at the bottom of your vision. And then even that begins to disappear as the lids complete their journey, coming together, sealing, closing out the light and the room and the library and everything external. Closed now, fully closed, and behind the dark velvet of your eyelids, there's only darkness, only the soft red patterns that pressure and blood flow create. The outside world is gone, completely gone, and in its place, there's only the inside world, the world of your own being, your own consciousness beginning its slow drift toward sleep. The weight of your closed eyelids is immense, impossible to lift, and you have no desire to try. They will stay closed now, stay closed through whatever comes next, stay closed until morning, until light, until time to wake. But that's hours away, a lifetime away, and for now, there's only this darkness, quiet, the sound of rain, and rest. In the darkness behind your closed eyelids, you're still aware of the library around you, but it's transformed now, existing not as a visual space but as a felt presence, a sensory memory, an atmosphere that surrounds and holds you. The darkness is complete, total, the kind of darkness that exists inside buildings late at night when all lights have been extinguished and even the fire has burned down to ash. But it's not an empty darkness, it's a full darkness, rich with presence. The books are still there on their shelves, thousands of them, millions of pages, countless words, all resting in the dark, patient, eternal. The shelves themselves stand sentinel, wooden guardians surrounding your small clearing of chair and table and rug. The ceiling with its beams extends high overhead, unseen but known, creating the vast protected space beneath which you rest. The rain continues, you can still hear it, but even its sound has become more distant, more integrated into the fabric of the darkness, less a separate phenomenon and more part of the overall texture of this place, this moment. Water falling, always falling, on roof and window and earth, the planet's circulatory system doing its work, moving water from ocean to cloud to rain to river to ocean again, the eternal cycle within which all life exists. Your breath moves in and out, so slow now, so quiet, barely disturbing the air around your face. Your heart beats in your chest, steady, reliable, the drum that marks time for your personal existence, the rhythm that began before you were born and will continue until it doesn't, but not tonight, not for many nights to come. Tonight it beats peacefully, slowly, asking nothing, simply doing its work. The chair holds you still, or perhaps you've merged with the chair so completely that there's no distinction anymore between the one who sits and the thing that supports. You are the chair is you, together you are one resting entity in the dark library, breathing slowly, existing quietly, at peace. Time has become irrelevant. There is no time. There's only this eternal present moment that stretches in all directions, containing everything that matters. The past has dissolved, the future hasn't formed, there's only now, only here, only this perfect darkness, this perfect quiet, this perfect rest. The library breathes around you, the old building settling on its foundations, with expanding and contracting in response to temperature changes too subtle to notice, the entire structure alive in its way, sheltering you, protecting you, asking nothing in return except that you rest, that you let go, that you surrender to sleep. And somewhere in this darkness, in this quiet, in this perfect moment of total relaxation and absolute safety, the transition happens. You don't notice when, you can't mark the moment, there's no clear boundary, but at some point, you stop being awake and start being asleep. The library remains, the rain continues, the darkness holds, but you drift away, you slip beneath the surface of consciousness into the deeper waters of sleep and dreams. Rest now, rest deeply, rest completely, held by the chair, held by the library, held by the night. The rain will watch over you, the darkness will keep you safe, and morning is so far away that it might as well not exist at all. Rest! 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 In the depths of your rest, somewhere in that space between sleep and deeper sleep, a sound reaches you. It's water moving through gutters, through the metal channels that line the library's roof edges, carrying rain away from the foundation. The sound is distant, hollow, almost musical, a gurgling that speaks of volume, of flow, of the rain's abundance finding its path. The water rushes through these hidden passages, channels you've never seen and never will see, doing its work in the darkness, in the spaces between walls and beneath eaves. There's something soothing about knowing this system exists, this network of practical magic that keeps buildings dry, that directs water where it needs to go, that transforms the chaos of rain into organized flow. The gurgling rises and falls with the rain's intensity, sometimes a trickle, sometimes a rush, but always present, always moving. Water seeks its level, water finds its way, water cannot be stopped, only directed, and these gutters are doing their ancient work, the same work gutters have done since humans first built permanent shelters and needed to manage the rain. You don't need to think about this, don't need to understand the engineering or the physics, you only need to hear it, to let the sound of water finding its path become another thread in the tapestry of rain sounds that surrounds you. Distant water, channeled water, water being managed and directed by human ingenuity, all while you rest in perfect safety beneath the roof that sheds it away. The sound grows fainter as you sink deeper, not because it stops but because you're descending into layers of consciousness where sounds become less distinct, less individual, more part of a general oceanic roar of existence. The gutters continue their work, will work all night, but you're drifting away from them now, drifting down into silence, into depths where even the rain becomes a memory, a story told by someone else, a dream within a dream. Your arms, resting on the chair's worn leather armrests, have become impossibly heavy. They're still your arms, you could move them if you tried, but the trying would require such effort, such a monumental gathering of will, that the very thought of it feels absurd. Better to let them rest where they are, these heavy things that used to move so easily, that used to reach and grasp and gesture without thought. The weight has spread through every muscle, every bone, every cell. Your forearms press into the armrests with increasing pressure, or perhaps the armrests are rising to meet them. It's impossible to say which is moving and which is still. Your hands have curled slightly, naturally, fingers relaxed, palms turned inward, the shape the hands take when all tension leaves, when there's nothing to hold, nothing to grip, nothing to do. Your legs, stretched out before you or bent at the knee, wherever they've settled, carry the same impossible weight. Your thighs sink into the chair's cushion, your calves rest against whatever supports them, and your feet, still in their soft slippers, press into the deep rug with a pressure that feels like it might carry you through the floor, through the foundation, down into the earth itself. This weight is not uncomfortable, not at all. It's the weight of complete relaxation, the weight of a body that has finally, fully let go of all the tiny tensions that accumulate during waking hours. Every muscle fiber has released, every tendon has loosened, every joint has settled into its most comfortable position. Your skeleton supports you, but barely, and the chair does the rest, and between the two, you are held perfectly, suspended in comfort, anchored in rest. The weight keeps increasing, or your awareness of it keeps deepening, or perhaps these are the same thing. You are heavy, you are so heavy, you are made of lead and stone and gravity itself. And this heaviness is exactly right, exactly what you need, the physical manifestation of deep rest, of surrender, of letting the world hold you instead of holding yourself against the world. The thunder that rolled through earlier, distant and low, returns now, but changed, gentler. It's so far away that you might be imagining it, might be hearing the echo of a storm that passed hours ago or hasn't arrived yet. The rumble is barely perceptible, more felt than heard, a vibration in the air that your sleeping body registers without needing to wake. This thunder doesn't startle, doesn't alarm, it soothes. It's the storm saying good night, the weather acknowledging your rest and offering its own deep voice as accompaniment. The low frequency travels through the building's structure, through the chair, through your body, and somewhere in your chest or stomach, you feel it resonate, a sympathetic vibration like one tuning fork answering another. The sound draws out, long and slow, taking many seconds to fade from perceptible to imperceptible, and in that fading, there's a lesson about endings, about how nothing stops suddenly, how everything gradually becomes nothing, how transitions are always gentler than we expect if we pay attention. The thunder fades but never quite disappears, it just becomes quieter than your ability to hear it, joining all the other sounds that exist beyond human perception. Between the thunder's distant voice and the rain's constant whisper, you are held in a conversation between earth and sky, between water and atmosphere, between the patient ground and the generous clouds. This conversation has been happening for billions of years, long before humans, long before libraries, long before consciousness itself, and it will continue long after, eternal, indifferent, beautiful. Another soft rumble, even fainter, even more distant, like the memory of thunder rather than thunder itself. And then perhaps nothing, or perhaps the thunder continues but you can no longer hear it, having descended into depths where hearing itself becomes optional, where sound and silence merge into one undifferentiated medium through which your consciousness drifts like a leaf on a slow river. In the darkness, in your deep rest, your sense of smell picks up something new, or perhaps something that's been there all along and you're only now noticing. Candle wax, the particular scent of beeswax candles that burned hours or days ago and have since been extinguished, leaving behind their ghost in the air. It's a sweet smell, slightly honeyed, completely natural, the smell of beeswax that came from hives, from the work of thousands of bees building their combs, their wax transformed into candles that illuminated this library before electricity came, or that still illuminate it sometimes, when someone wants the particular quality of light that only flame can provide. Mixed with the wax is a hint of smoke, the carbon residue of countless wicks burned down to nothing, the accumulated breath of 1,000 small fires that lived briefly and gave their light before disappearing. This smoke smell is not acrid or unpleasant, it's aged, mellowed, integrated into the room's atmosphere so completely that it's become part of what this place is, part of its essential character. The scent speaks of history, of evenings like this one stretching back through decades, through centuries perhaps, of readers who sat in chairs like yours, who opened books by candlelight, who let the wax burn down while they lost themselves in words, in stories, in knowledge. You're part of a long tradition, a chain of solitary readers extending through time, each one finding this same peace, this same shelter, this same rest. The smell mingles with all the other scents, the paper, the leather, the rain, the wood smoke, creating a perfume so complex that it could never be bottled, never be replicated, existing only here, only in this library, only in this moment. You breathe it in without thinking, your sleeping body still performing its basic functions, still drawing air, still processing the molecules that carry scent, still sending signals to your brain that says, here, this is here, you are here, this is real. Something is changing in the darkness behind your eyes, in the vast black space that has replaced the library's interior. Shapes are beginning to form, not solid shapes, not real shapes, but suggestions, impressions, the raw material from which dreams are built. They drift through your inner vision like those dust motes you watched earlier in the lamplight, but slower, larger, less defined. A color appears, maybe blue, maybe green, maybe something between the two, a color that doesn't have a name because it exists only in this liminal space between waking and sleeping, between consciousness and unconsciousness. The color spreads, becomes a field, becomes an environment, and you're moving through it now, or it's moving through you, the distinction meaningless. A shape that might be a door, or might be a window, or might be nothing at all, just your sleeping mind playing with the concept of passage, of opening, of transition. You move toward it, or through it, or maybe you don't move at all, maybe it moves relative to you, maybe movement itself is an illusion and you're simply experiencing different states of being without actually going anywhere. The library is still there, you can feel it, the chair still holds you, the rain still falls, but you're also somewhere else now, inhabiting two realities simultaneously, or perhaps inhabiting a third reality that contains both the physical world and the dream world, a space between spaces where both are equally real and equally unreal. Voices might murmur in the distance, or maybe that's just the rain, or maybe there's no difference between voices and rain in this state, maybe all sounds are the same sound. Maybe everything is connected in ways that only sleeping minds can perceive. The voices, if they are voices, speak in a language you don't understand but somehow know, speaking directly to some part of you that predates language, that existed before words, that will exist after words are forgotten. You're dreaming now, or beginning to dream, or about to dream. The timeline confused because in this state, time doesn't flow linearly, it pools and eddies and flows backward as easily as forward. The dreams are coming, rising from whatever deep place dreams come from, and you're ready for them, open to them, willing to go wherever they take you. Your breathing continues, in and out, the rhythm established long ago, the pattern so familiar it requires no thought, no oversight. But now, in this deep state of rest, you become aware of it in a strange way. It sounds distant, as if you're hearing someone else breathe, as if your body is over there, across the room perhaps, and you are here, watching, listening, separate. Each inhale is a soft rush of air, barely audible, more a whisper than a sound. The air moves through your nose or barely parted lips, travels down your throat, fills your lungs, and your chest rises, your belly expands, your whole torso participating in this essential exchange. But you observe it as if from outside, fascinated by the mechanism, by how effortlessly it happens, by how your body knows exactly what to do without any instruction from your conscious mind. The exhale follows, longer than the inhale, the air leaving in a slow, controlled release. There might be the tiniest sound, almost a sigh, almost nothing, just the whisper of air moving past tissue, past throat, past lips, returning to the room, to the atmosphere, to the great ocean of air that surrounds the planet and makes all breathing possible. The pause between breaths has grown longer, those moments of stillness where nothing happens, where your body rests even from breathing, gathering itself before the next inhale. 3 seconds, 4, 5, each pause a small death, a rehearsal for the final pause that will come someday but not today, not tonight. Just a gentle reminder that breath is a gift, that each one is temporary, that life exists in these cycles of taking in and letting go. The distance between your awareness and your breathing body continues to grow, as if you're floating above yourself now, looking down at this breathing creature in the chair, this mammal doing what mammals do, sustaining itself through the automatic miracle of respiration. You feel fondness for this body, appreciation for its faithful service, gratitude for its willingness to continue this essential work while you rest, while you dream, while you drift in spaces far from the physical realm. Even in sleep, even in dreams, part of you remains aware of the walls that surround you, the solid barriers that stand between you and the rainy night beyond. These walls are thick, stone or brick beneath their interior paneling, built to last, built to protect, built to create a space that remains constant while the world outside changes with seasons and weather and time. They've stood for how long? These walls, a century perhaps, maybe more, witnesses to countless storms, countless nights, countless people seeking shelter in knowledge, in books, in the quiet refuge that libraries provide. The walls have absorbed the voices of readers, the footsteps of scholars, the whispered conversations of those who found each other among the stacks. They hold all of this within their substance, a record written not in words but in vibrations, in the slow accumulation of human presence. The walls are doing their work now, keeping the wind out, keeping the rain out, maintaining the barrier between the warm interior and the cold exterior. They don't complain about this work, don't tire of it, they simply stand, as walls have always stood, patient and permanent and strong. You can feel their presence even in sleep, a sense of enclosure, of being inside rather than outside, of being protected rather than exposed. There are probably paintings on these walls, or photographs, images chosen by someone long ago to make this space more beautiful, more welcoming, more human. You can't see them in the darkness, can barely remember if you saw them when you first arrived, but they're there, silent witnesses to your rest, watchers who ask nothing, who simply maintain their vigil through the night. The walls breathe, in their way, old plaster and wood expanding and contracting with temperature changes, settling on foundations that have settled into the earth, the whole structure alive with its own slow life, its own patient existence. You breathe with the walls, your rhythm and their rhythm synchronized, two living things keeping each other company through the dark hours, both doing the work of simply being, simply existing, simply holding space in the world. Your eyes have been closed for so long now that you might have forgotten they exist, but somewhere in the depths of your rest, there's a memory of the lamp, of that green gold light that illuminated your reading, that created your small sphere of visibility in the larger darkness. The memory plays across your closed eyelids like a film, a gentle glow, a warmth that's more felt than seen. Even though the lamp has dimmed, even though your eyes are closed, some part of your visual system still registers light, still processes the photons that penetrate your eyelids and reach the retinas beneath. The glow is red-orange now, the color that always appears behind closed lids when any light is present, the color of blood vessels and tissue illuminated from outside, organic and warm and somehow comforting. This inner light shifts slightly as you breathe, as blood pressure changes, as your body continues its maintenance work while you sleep. Patterns appear, not from any external source but generated by your own visual cortex, the brain amusing itself, creating something from nothing, filling the darkness with phantom images that mean nothing and everything. Sometimes the memory of the green lamp returns, so vivid it's almost as if you're seeing it again, the emerald glass shade, the brass base, the pool of light on the wooden table. But then it fades, replaced by other memories, other lights, windows opening in your mind to moments from earlier today or years ago, the sleeping brain sampling its vast archive of experience, pulling out random images, random moments, showing them to you and then putting them back. The light behind your eyelids pulses gently, following your heartbeat, each pulse creating a slight brightening, a rhythmic proof of life, of circulation, of the body's faithful work. It's hypnotic, this pulse, this inner lighthouse beam sweeping through the darkness, marking time, marking existence, marking the boundary between being and not being with each regular flash. You could open your eyes, could return to the external world, could see what's actually there rather than these memories and phantoms. But why? The inner world is so rich, so complete, so perfectly suited to rest. Let the eye stay closed, let the inner light continue its show, let the memories drift and fade, let everything settle into the deepest rest. Gravity hasn't stopped working, you haven't left the chair, your body remains exactly where it was, solid and substantial and heavy. But your awareness of your body has changed, and in this changed state, you feel as if you're floating, as if the chair has become a raft and you're drifting on calm water, rising and falling with gentle swells, moving without moving, traveling while remaining still. The sensation starts in your torso, a lightness there, a lifting, as if your body's core has filled with something less dense than flesh, something that wants to rise. Your chest feels buoyant, your stomach feels weightless, and this lightness spreads outward through your limbs, through your arms and legs, until your entire body feels like it's made of something other than matter, something that doesn't quite obey the usual laws of physics. You rise, or the sensation of rising fills you, and the chair recedes beneath you, still supporting you but from a greater distance, as if a gap has opened between your body and the leather, a thin layer of air or light or consciousness that cushions you, that allows you to hover just slightly above the surface of the material world. The library's walls expand outward, the room growing larger, or perhaps you're growing smaller, or perhaps size itself has become meaningless and you're simply experiencing space differently, aware of the vast volume of air around you, aware of the three-dimensional nature of the room in a way that waking consciousness never quite achieves. You could float up to the ceiling with its dark beams, could drift among the highest shelves, could explore the upper reaches of this space, but you don't need to move. The sensation of being able to is enough. This floating state is deeply peaceful, a release from the constant pull of Earth, from the weight that has defined your existence since birth. To float is to be free, to be light, to be unburdened by the demands of matter and mass. Your sleeping body might twitch slightly, might adjust its position in the chair, but you, the awareness, the consciousness, the whatever it is that experiences existence, you continue to float, to drift, to hover in perfect calm. The rain continues outside, the thunder rumbles distantly, the library stands solid and sure, but you are floating above it all, part of it all, held in the space between sleep and something deeper, something that might not have a name. Something that simply is. Time has passed, hours perhaps, though time has no meaning in sleep, no way to measure itself against consciousness that has no continuous awareness. The night has moved through its early phase, through its middle phase, and now settles into its deepest hour, that time around 3 or 4 in the morning when the world is most still, most dark, most quiet, when even the rain seems to fall more softly, respecting the profound rest that this hour demands. The library breathes with this deep night, its atmosphere thickening, becoming more dense, more protective, as if the darkness itself has substance, as if you're sleeping not in a room but inside the night itself, cradled in hours that exist outside of day, outside of light, outside of waking life. This is the hour when hospitals are quietest, when cities sleep their deepest, when the planet turns its face fully away from the sun and rests in its own shadow. Your sleep has deepened in rhythm with the night, your consciousness descended to levels it rarely reaches, places where dreams become less visual and more felt, where thoughts dissolve into sensations, where the boundaries between self and world become so thin they might not exist at all. You are sleeping the sleep that heals, that restores, that rebuilds what the day has depleted, your body working in the darkness to repair cells, to consolidate memories, to prepare for eventual waking. The rain has settled into its own deepest rhythm, no longer heavy, no longer varying much in intensity, just a steady medium fall that could continue for hours more, that has the patience to outlast the night, to still be falling when dawn comes, whenever that might be. The gutters still channel water, the roof still sheds it, the windows still stream with it, all the mechanisms of weather and shelter working together in perfect unconscious harmony. In this deepest hour, there's a sense of being held not just by the chair or the library, but by the night itself, by time, by the patient revolution of the earth, by all the vast forces that support existence without asking anything in return. You are so small, so temporary, so fragile, but right now, right here, you are completely safe, completely protected, completely at peace. The night watches over you, the library shelters you, the rain sings to you, and you sleep, 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 deeper than deep, darker than dark, more completely at rest than you've been in months, maybe years, maybe ever. This is the rest you needed, the rest your body has been asking for, the rest that makes tomorrow possible. And the night will hold you here, in this perfect darkness, for as long as you need, until light returns, until birds begin their morning songs, until the world calls you back to waking. But that's hours away still, lifetimes away, and for now there's only this night, rain, shelter, and the deepest, most perfect sleep.